Welcome to Skillabration's Spanish one-on-one tutoring page. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm teacher Nikki, the owner and founder of Skillabration. Let's take a look at how our one-on-one tutoring works. What should you expect in our Spanish one-on-one tutoring sessions? Our sessions are structured. If you're using our curriculum, some people come to us with wanting to use our curriculum, and then some people come to us wanting support with their current Spanish class if they're taking a class at school. But if you're using the curriculum that we offer, it's a very structured curriculum, but we also use interactive technology like Nearpod and Boom cards, which I'll show you in a moment. And then you can also expect patient and welcoming teachers. I'll introduce you to our teachers at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around until the end. All right, so let's take a look at our curriculum for Spanish Level 1, ages 8 through 10. And if you're coming to us with a student who already has experience like dual language or your family already speaks Spanish, we do offer more than just Spanish Level 1. But we're going to start with Spanish 1 because that's the majority of what people come to us for. So if your student is in the ages of 8 through 10, this is the curriculum we use. And we start with the basics, starting with the alphabet, greetings, introductions, colors, food, clothes. It goes on for about 33 weeks. And what's inside these lessons? Well, let's take a look at like the food lesson. In the food lesson, you will start with introducing the vocabulary. And we always show images with our lessons. We go through about 4 words at a time, then we'll review those words. Some of our lessons are on Nearpod, so let's take a look at Nearpod. Let's open up a lesson here. Now, this is actually a lesson that I use with all ages. Some lessons work out like that where we can make them useful for ages 8 through 18 because they're kind of neutral for different ages. But weather is one of those. Weather and seasons is one of those. So we'll start with about 4 or 5 words. We practice pronunciation. So I say, you say, I'll just say, repite las estaciones, el invierno, and then the student will say it after me. So they know how to pronounce the vocabulary. And then after we go through pronunciation, we'll do some activities because that's where we want to make sure that the students retain the vocabulary. So we're using it in action right away. So this is drag and drop, and students will drag the word in, and the teacher can see what the student's doing on their end of the screen. So if I open up this Nearpod, so when the student logs in, this is what they see on their end. And they'll be dragging these in like this. And this is what the teacher will see on the teacher side. You'll be able to see the teacher can guide the student as necessary in case they miss something. But there's more activities on here. So some of the other activities are like this. They're matching pairs. So they're matching the English with the Spanish. And this really works great. If they get it wrong, that's what happens. So then we'll click over here and works like that. So it's a great tool for students to learn the vocabulary in the moment. And then for this, we also want to practice their listening fluency, not just pronunciation, not just speaking, but also can they understand what they're hearing? So the teacher will say a word and the student will circle the word. So if I say la primavera, the student should be circling primavera. Can they recognize what they're listening to, what they're hearing? And those are just a few of the activities that students can do on Nearpod. Now, what happens when we get to the end of the Spanish 1 curriculum for our elementary students? We actually move into, because if you noticed here, we have 33 weeks of materials, which is a lot. There's 52 weeks in a year. So it's almost a year's worth of materials if the student's taking 1 class a week, because it depends. We could move a lot faster if you're taking multiple classes a week. But when we do finish, we move into a more immersive style with our elementary students where we will teach vocabulary and then learn a short story. So this is about 3 days where we go through this story and the students start to read in Spanish. How exciting is that? Let's take a look at our Spanish 1 materials for middle and high school students. So these units are more in depth and they're definitely more of the structured style where we'll take notes. We'll learn the vocabulary in order, then we'll do vocabulary activities. We'll do speaking, listening, reading, writing practice, and then we learn grammar as well. So in this unit, you can see how much more in depth it goes with the older students. And here's an example of one of our vocabulary units. Just so you can see. And then there's also Nearpod activities between the slides. And then we do speaking slides as well. So we're also practicing speaking in between the notes, in between the activities with the student. Now that we've taken a look at our curriculum, what kind of students usually come to us? We have a variety of students, but some students come to us starting from scratch. That's why we have our level 1 curriculum, because that's where the majority of students are starting. And then we also have some students who have had exposure to Spanish, whether that's in an immersive classroom, like a dual language classroom, or with their family. And for that, when that happens, we do have other reading materials for those students, and we can definitely serve those students as well. Some students need help with their homework and improving their grades in Spanish. And then we also work with homeschool students. So some homeschool students want to take a full year of Spanish with us. And that's why we have our Spanish 1 curriculum if they want a Spanish teacher online with live lessons. So now let's take a look at our teachers. We are experienced teachers who have a passion for sharing the language learning experience with our students. And we have other teachers too. We have Mandarin and French teachers as well. So make sure you go ahead to Skillabration, go on over to skillabration.com/our-teachers if you want to learn more about the details of each of our teachers here. Now, let's talk about some frequently asked questions. Can you take more than one class a week? Yes, absolutely. I've had students where they'll start off with once a week, and then as they enjoy the class, they add on more classes. So some students have taken 3 to 5 days a week of Spanish with me and our other tutors. How do we get in touch with you? If you are on our Skillabration page,
Hover over on the connect icon and then click contact us. And then you can fill out the form here. Just type your name, email, and send us a message, and then we will get back to you as soon as possible. To enroll in the class, you'll go to Enroll Now. You may want to check out our policy handbook and terms of service. That will go over what to expect when you take classes with us, and then also our refund policy in the terms of service. And then just click on Enroll Now. If you're registering a child, make sure you are on this button. We do have some people that take adult lessons with us. We have some Spanish and French teachers that do work with adults, also American Sign Language as well. So if you are an adult interested in a lesson, you can also register. Just make sure you click on adult. And then you'll fill out all the details. There's 3 sections to this. And then from there, someone on our team will get back to you, and we'll start with scheduling your first lesson. And then the way that payments go through, you can sign up for auto pay, so you're charged weekly for your lessons. We do typically charge week by week for your lessons, and you won't get charged when you don't have a class as long as you let us know. We have a 24-hour refund policy. All right.
now, maybe you have one more question. Should I join the 25-minute or the 45-minute tutoring session? It all depends on what you think your learner's attention span is. I do recommend 25-minute sessions for 8 to 10-year-olds. I think that their attention span that's when you have the best outcome in that 25-minute session. But I definitely have had students ages 8 through 10 in 45-minute classes that do just fine as well. So it's really up to you and what you guys prefer. But we can we can learn a lot in that 25-minute session. Don't think it's too short. Sometimes people think that's really short, but really we can learn a lot in that time. Now, 45-minute is great if you really want to go in depth, in detail with the lesson. So that does work well if we're taking notes and that kind of thing. One other question that we get asked is, do you have an option for siblings? And we do. So when you're on our page, just let us know when you go to the contact us form that you have two siblings that want to take one-on-one tutoring together. Keep in mind that this video is all about one-on-one tutoring for Spanish, and that we have a different option for small group cohorts, which requires a minimum of 3 students. So if you have two siblings that want to do one-on-one tutoring, we can definitely do that. Or even friends, we've had do that where we're doing two for the price of one for tutoring. But again, if you're looking for the small group class, that's also going to require you to send in a request as long as you have a minimum of 3 learners. So that could be a group of friends, maybe it's cousins, siblings, or a cohort for homeschool. Just reach out to us on the contact us page and we can get it set up for you. The difference in prices are you can find our pricing on our homepage. And if you scroll down, it shows the pricing right here. It is a little bit tiny. We will work on updating this and showing the pricing on each class description page as well. Thank you so much for stopping by and learning about Spanish tutoring with us. We can't wait to see you in class. Hasta luego!